All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Black Box Podcast. Now, on this channel, we do two major themes. One of them is true crime, and the sort of second minor theme is the upcoming presidential election in 2020. And one of the candidates that I have not yet talked about is former Attorney General Eric Holder. Now, I am not a Democrat, and I won't be voting in the Democratic primary, but this is some entertainment all the same. I'm going to say flat out, and I don't think there's any way to beat around the bush, the Democrats would be absolutely crazy to put up Eric Holder as their nomination. I mean, what in the world? When I saw this online, at first I thought it was a joke, because he put his name was up there on Wikipedia as a potential candidate for 2020 months ago, like nearly a year ago. And I've noticed that a lot of news outlets have been talking about Eric Holder running for president lately on both sides of the fence. But it's like, what on earth would the Democrats be thinking if they were to be putting up Eric Holder? Is this anything serious at all? What is the motivation for this? Does he have a lot of money behind him and some sort of giant super PAC or special interest group? Or is this just a personal ambition of his that he has had for years and he just wants to be president, or at the very least run for president? Because the Democrats need to be thinking about something. You have an objective, and that is to win the presidency, right? I mean, this isn't rocket science. This isn't brain surgery. You need to win, right? So Eric Holder stands absolutely no chance of pulling in the middle ground voters. Fast and the Furious, do we need to say more? Making comments about brainwashing people into staying away from guns, need I say more? I mean, it's like he has a rap sheet that is completely ridden with things that the Republicans are going to use to tear him apart. Absolutely not. I am just very surprised that he is. I don't know why he's running for president. I will say, though, that one thing I thought was rather interesting was that Eric Holder is the former Attorney General of the United States under Barack Obama, and the former Attorney General of California is Kamala Harris, who is possibly also running for president. And and Kamala Harris was a potential replacement for Eric Holder. So we have two attorney generals that might be right up there with lots of money behind them. And I want to know, is somebody in this part of the department arranging things, pulling strings behind the scene? Is there somebody here who is very close to Obama or something that is trying to manipulate something? Someone from a particular department? I mean, we had a potential replacement in the Attorney General of California, Kamala Harris, and now we have the former Attorney General himself, Eric Holder, who could possibly be running for president. I mean, the Democrats, I don't even know why they would even entertain this guy. He has absolutely everything that they would not want, except for diversity points. I will give them that. He has the diversity points, but you can't win on diversity alone. No matter what he says, he has the past that is going to absolutely turn off middle ground voters. Not to mention pulling anybody in from the other side, but like the undecideds and the independents. Eric Holder cannot do it. Why is he running? Why is there all this talk about Eric Holder running for president in 2020? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, other than the fact that, as I mentioned, there is the possibility that he has just a lot of money put into this campaign and he might be working for someone, doing a little bit of professional work. I mean, the Democrats would be better off investing in Michael Avenatti for that reason, for the sole fact that Avenatti was one of the guys that just stood up and spearheaded the administration. He spearheaded the Trump administration and tried to take him down. Now, Avenatti is somebody who has released a platform online. He is seriously considering a run for the president. And yet, I mean, obviously you know who it is, but the attorney for Stormy Daniels. And yes, that actually turned into a giant brouhaha, blown out of proportion, yes. And does Michael Avenatti love the spotlight? Yes, but he is somebody who did spearhead the administration and tried to take the bull by the horns. Eric Holder was involved with sending guns to Mexico. I mean, that's not exactly it. And furthermore, why would the Democrats go with somebody who is super establishment like Eric Holder? I mean, what about, trying to get somebody that is going to be bringing new ideas to the scene, somebody that is going to be galvanizing support, someone who can drum up some support in the 18 to 25 demographic? How on earth would Eric Holder do that? Would he tell some stories, from the past about how he tried to brainwash black people to stay away from guns? Yeah, bring that one up. Dip into the old bag of tricks. No, I don't really know what would be going on with anybody who would be seriously considering this guy for a run at the presidency, because the Democrats need to think about who can stand up to Donald Trump. And it's not only someone who has money. Russell Brand made a very famous statement about how just give it to the person who has the most money. Just hand over the election to the one who has the most money invested. Well, Hillary Clinton had a lot of money invested into her campaign, right? Right? I think Russell Brand's statement is only true some of the time, or even most of the time. Definitely not all the time. And Donald Trump still has his base. Donald Trump still has a lot of people behind him. How on earth is Donald Trump going to be defeated by somebody like Eric Holder? On this channel, I've talked quite a bit about Andrew Yang, the venture capitalist who's running on a platform of Universal Basic Income, UBI. And, Andrew Yang is like a fringe candidate, but he is bringing some new ideas to the table. He is bringing the business background to the table. He is going about things in a different way, and he's really, really pushing for this universal basic income plan, which has received a lot of support from libertarians, from independents, from Republicans, and from Democrats like Yang himself. I've also talked about John Delaney, who is sort of saying other things about improving quality of life for people who, improving quality of life for the American citizens as a way to cut healthcare costs and a way to improve nutrition. I hope that if Eric Holder does develop a platform and get serious about running for the presidency, that he will just be a haven for new ideas. He'll get the political think tanks working. Not necessarily saying him himself, but, these major level politicians, they have enormous amounts of political think tanks that are just drilling out the ideas. They're trying to find out what do people like, what do they want to hear. But that's not enough. It's not enough just to cater to a base. I would expect that the Democratic nominee that is going to challenge Donald Trump for the presidency, if Trump does indeed, run, which everyone's thinking that he will, and as far as I know, he hasn't indicated that there's any chance that he would not run. So, I would hope that the Democratic nominee that is going up against the Republican contender, whoever that is, most likely Trump, is going to not only be left-wing talking points. I repeat, not only left-wing talking points. Further, for the first part, it's boring. We can hear that from anyone. We can turn on Rachel Maddow and listen to left-wing talking points. We can go and listen to Lawrence O'Donnell for left-wing talking points. We can listen to Tom Hartman on whatever station he's on and get left-wing talking points. We need some new creative solutions that are being put forth on the presidential scale. People who have a very diverse platform of ideas. People talking about not only catering to a base, but I want to hear new things that actually sound like they might have a chance at working. And, it's like, you can say something for or against universal basic income if you like, that Andrew Yang has talked about, but it is a bold plan. And I love boldness when it comes to politicians. I love people that are kind of saying the wild ideas for the sole fact that, it's creative, and for the second fact, they're trying to find new ways to go about the system that could make changes in the future. Even if their plan doesn't get implemented 100% exactly as they say it will, they are trying to use creativity to achieve solutions. It's entertaining all the same, and there might actually be a certain nugget of truth into it. What would Eric Holder be like if he were going up against Donald Trump? And, this guy is actually planning to run. They've been talking about this for a year. At the very least, he has mentioned interest in being a presidential candidate for at least 1 year. What would it actually be like? Fox News is going to destroy him. The talk radio community is going to destroy him. And, it's just going to be partisanship on the side of the Democratic news outlets when they feature things about Eric Holder. Furthermore, he is super establishment. Bernie Sanders drummed up a lot of support for the Democrats in 2016. and the whole 2015 primary, I should say, is really when Bernie Sanders built up his support because he was different. Bernie was all about being different. Bernie was all about having a different kind of platform. He calls himself a democratic socialist. He has all kinds of different things. You might argue whether or not they are plausible, yes or no, but what exactly is Eric Holder going to do? And furthermore, the reason I brought up left-wing talking points is when a candidate is just a left-wing talking point, that is useless. There's no action plan in talking points. Yeah, diversity. Yeah, equality. Yeah, we love everyone. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not a Democrat. That's just what I'm imagining Democrats would want to hear. So when we have somebody like Eric Holder going up for the presidency, I mean, why would he do this? Why? He has zero chance. Andrew Yang has a better chance at winning than he does. John Delaney has a better chance at winning than he does. What about somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, if she were to throw in her hat, the representative from Hawaii? I mean, there has been some talk about she could be a potential nominee. She'll finally be eligible. I believe she'll only be 36 at the time of the election. The William Jennings Bryan, like someone who is just right above the age of consent, as disgusting as that sounds. No, the age of 35 to be required to be a president. Eric Holder is somebody who has a very long history with the government, and he has a lot of, things on his resume, but that's not enough. People only remember Eric Holder for the bad things. I thought this was a joke. I didn't believe my eyes when I saw him on the list of potential contenders. I was just like, I just don't see any reason for any Democrat of any kind to be supporting Eric Holder. If, I'm wrong, I will eat my hat, but I don't think I'm wrong about this. The Democrats must have somebody better than him. I mean, I'll have to do an upload soon on whether or not Bernie Sanders should run again. But, Bernie's going to be 78 years old. I mean, Donald Trump was the oldest president we ever had at age 70, but Bernie's going to be 78 years old. I know he can run, and I know he's fast, but that's pretty fucking old. Now, in all seriousness, I would really hope that the Democrats look at somebody different than Eric Holder. I just don't think he can win, and that's the single biggest reason why I think they shouldn't invest in him. I think he has a lot of things from his past that are going to come back to haunt him, and he is too pro-establishment. Now, we're going to be looking at a lot of other candidates on the scene, not only Democrats, but also the Libertarians, the Greens, the Prohibition Party. Let's see if the Nutrition Party comes back for 2020. All right, well, that's all for me now. If you have anything to say at all about Eric Holder or the Democrats or the presidential race coming up in 2020, please drop a comment below. I know that this topic is not super popular on this channel, but I just, I guess I had a little bit of a burst of emotion today, some things to throw out. All right, well, that's all for me. If you have anything to say, once again, please leave a comment, and thank you for listening. Everybody, take care.